My partner, Carol Massar, is in New Orleans for the Daily Beast Innovation Summit, Reboot America. Mayors, business leaders, and economists are all trying to figure out how to get the country going again. And if there's anyone who knows a thing or two about that, it's the mayor of the host city. Mitch Landrieu talked with Carol outside New Orleans City Hall this morning.
You've got so many things going on: education, infrastructure, dealing with budget gaps, a system that's been, I think, for decades, some decay that has come into the system. How do you figure out what to kind of tackle, or do you just tackle it all in this way?
Well, you do. No, you try. First of all, you have to get all of it done. So you just try to organize and prioritize. You get here early and you stay late. You get a good team of people that know more than you do about stuff.
Right.
And then you really engage the public. And the public in New Orleans has been really great. I mean, the folks here, I think people have seen across America that people in New Orleans are really resilient people that really want to work hard and get their city right. But in many instances, what's happened in New Orleans is not different than what's happened in other major cities across America.
It's true.
We've said many times that we're the canary in the coal mine, that the country would miss a really important learning moment if they thought somehow that what's going on down here was different from, for example, what's New York struggling with, or Baltimore, or Chicago,
so in
Los
other words,
Angeles.
Other folks have full plates too.
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, it's just a matter of dealing with it and prioritizing it. Now, what you want to try to do is get out of the trap of having to make a decision every day about whether you're going to survive tomorrow, and try to get into a stable situation where you're going to begin to be creative and grow and be entrepreneurial.
Can you do that, though, when you've got such pressing problems right in front of you?
No, I mean, when your house is on fire, you got to put your fire out first, right?
Right.
But eventually, you get to the point where you can start rebuilding it back. And so we're gonna get there. New Orleans has been struggling through this for the past 5 years. But if you think about this town, post September 11th, because we're a tourism industry city, we went down. We had to come back up. Then Katrina and Rita hit. Then Ike and Gustav hit.
Right.
Then we had the BP oil spill, and so and then we had the all historical problems. So, but we're moving out of it, and I think that we can show measurable progress over time, and it's been a really great success story, but we got a long way to go.
Well, tell me where you are, 5 years after Katrina. I mean, you still got about, I think, 27% of your housing stock, it's unoccupied. You've got 100,000 people who still haven't come back.
Well, yes, to a certain extent that's true, but a lot of people have come back to the metropolitan area, which is New Orleans. But we also have a complete new school reform movement. We also have 88 new healthcare clinics.
It's bringing in people?
It's bringing in people. It's really the forerunner of what healthcare reform is supposed to do, because you want preventative care. We now have 88 clinics that are doing that, the charter school movement. So you've got a city that basically says, look, we're going to stop thinking about building the city that we were.
Right.
We're going to start thinking about becoming the city that we want to become, a 21st century, technologically proficient, innovative, entrepreneurial city. And there's great evidence that we're making strides. Now, we have the same challenges that will hold any major city back. We have a high poverty rate. The education rate, although it's better, is still challenged. So what we have to do is just learn how to fix those problems. It's where hope hits the streets.
Let me ask you. So 5 years after Katrina, BP is just, 6 months from that. What's a bigger problem still, bigger issue for you guys here, for you specifically in New Orleans?
Well, on the macro level, the erosion of our coast is a critical issue. Louisiana produces for this country about 30% of its domestic oil. People in this country use about 20 million gallons of oil a day, but we only produce 12. That's a huge problem.
Right.
Because there's a gap, and we better find a way to drill safely, but at the same time restore and conserve what we have. Our biggest issue. So
we need to maintain that offshore drilling.
I believe we have to do it, but you have to drill safely, and you have to restore. The coast is disappearing, and once that coast disappears and those oil and gas pipelines become exposed, the country's national security and economic security is going to be challenged. So restoring the coast is a huge problem. BP getting its head straight and really focuses its attention where it should be, which it has not done yet, is important, as well as the work that other major oil companies are doing. But you can't explore and exploit. You shouldn't do that. And so that's why I think that policy has got to be looked at. Secondly, anytime a major American city is down, the rest of the country is going to suffer. And by the way, it's not about us. It's about the rest of the country. So when you look at our infrastructure problems, wake up to the bridge collapse in Minneapolis. When you see the levees break, wake up to the 126 levees around the country that are compromised right now. When you see an emergency response system that doesn't work well, wake up to the fact that it's just not New Orleans, it's all over the country. So we tell people that we're the country's most immediate laboratory for innovation and change, not because we're smarter and faster than everybody, but because our lives are threatened by it, and we've had to innovate. And so we think that we're learning a lot of lessons, good and bad, about what we're doing, but Just substitute New York for New Orleans or Chicago or Los Angeles, and you have a huge problem that needs to get better as the country goes forward.
Just last question. How long is it going to take for you to make the progress that you hope to see? Significant progress. Is it 5 years?
2018 is New Orleans' 300th anniversary.
That's your goal?
That's 2018. You're going to see one of the greatest cities in America. I hope the people deserve it. America deserves it. And, we think we have a lot of good things to offer.
All right, I hope so.